For our workout component today, what we're going to be doing is a program that's just using one kettlebell. So we're going to be doing what's called Tabata, which is 20 seconds work, 10 seconds rest. And there's 4 exercises. So we're going to be doing a thruster, a kettlebell swing, a floor to an upright row, and a Russian twist. So you'll have 20 seconds worth of one exercise and then 10 seconds rest, and then 20 seconds of the next one, 10 seconds rest, 20 seconds of the third one, 10 seconds rest, and then 20 seconds of the last one, 10 seconds rest, and then we'll go through that circuit 5 times. So let's do it. So with our thruster, you're going to be holding that kettlebell at your chest. You're going to squat down nice and deep, and then as you're coming up out of that squat, you're going to get that kettlebell up overhead. So from here, coming down, and then straight back, straight up overhead. Our kettlebell swing, this movement is actually all about that hip thrust movement. So it's not exactly our arms bringing the kettlebell up, it's actually the momentum brings the kettlebell up as we thrust our hips forward. So from here, your hands are just literally holding onto the kettlebell, your arms aren't doing the work. It's that hip thruster movement to get that kettlebell up to chest height. With the floor to upright row, it's going to be a squat motion and then up into an upright row. So you're going to bring your elbows out nice and high and wide as that kettlebell comes up towards your chest. So from here, squat, upright row, and then straight back down. Again, using that momentum to help get that kettlebell up into that upright row position. And then our last exercise, our Russian twist. We're going to be working our obliques. So you're just leaning back in a slight V shape. If you can, have your feet up off the floor, or else you can sit them on the floor slightly as you go side to side with that kettlebell. Hello everybody, I'm going to show you guys how to make some super easy quiches, right? A store-bought short crust pastry. That is tongue twisting. You try it. Try it at home. Sorry, I just pointed a knife at you. That was really mean. I'm so bad when I'm holding onto knives. Lucky it's a blunt one. All right, so you just need your thawed out short crust pastry. You need some little quiche tins. I've just sprayed these with a little tiny spray of olive oil. And then literally all we're going to end up doing is cutting out the shapes to fit into the crust. Then we're going to blind bake them. I just usually use like dried legumes or something and just have a container that I rotate and use it all the time. If you have pastry weights, go ahead. It means you're fancier than me. Alrighty, so I'm literally just going to be cutting this out and chucking it in these little trays. I'm so messy with this because I'm like, you know what? The end product's always the same anyway. So I just cut a little bit bigger of a size than I need and literally just tearing off the edges here. This is going to be a good looking quiche already, you know? Let's do it. Quiche, the finished product of the quiche. It's actually really hot. But here we have it. Such a good breakfast idea, such a good little snack to keep in the fridge, just to heat up or even eat cold or run. It's amazing. And again, using up any sort of leftovers in the fridge. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. Hello guys, I hope you guys are having an amazing week this week. I've had the best week ever. I've been back home in Victoria where I grew up in Warrnambool with my beautiful and amazing family. I've spent so much quality time with them and just, yeah, good memories, good laughs. It's been great, especially catching up with my little nephews and nieces. I'm just obsessed with them and they're just growing up so fast without me. So It's been really nice. On this week's episode, I wanted to chat briefly about binge eating because I've spoken about this on my Instagram story a fair few times and so many people relate and they're really grateful that I've spoken about it because it's kind of not something that's spoken about too often, and I think people feel a lot of shame around it. It's something that does bring a lot of shame, and talking about it and opening up about it gets rid of that shame. I just want to know that you're not alone and that it does get better, I promise. I'm speaking from experience because I have definitely struggled with binge eating in the past. So binge eating for me looked like a lot like restriction versus over consumption. So it was a bit of a mixture. So some days I would be really, really good with my food and I would just restrict things, right? So I would not eat all the bad foods and I would only eat the good foods. Even if I didn't feel like eating what was in front of me, I'd be like, okay, this is what I need to eat. Or I would restrict the amount of calories I ate for that day. And then it would get to the point where I'd do that for a few days and then I would just fully give up. Like my body and my mind would just give up and I would eat something and I'd feel bad. And then that resulted in me eating more of it because I was like, well, I've blown it now already. I may as well just start back again tomorrow. And it ended up just being a cycle that repeated so often, like week by week by week by week. And I never really spoke about it at the time because I felt a little bit embarrassed because I've always been passionate about health and fitness and everyone always knows that that's what I live and breathe. And so it was something that I felt a lot of shame about. I was like, I did not want to open up about it. And now I really wish that I did because I feel like I could have helped myself a lot quicker if I had have spoken about it and been actually open about it. And knowing that like right now I know so many people struggle with this and it breaks my heart because it's such a hard thing to battle. But at the same time, like back then I thought I was alone. So that's why I'm really wanting to share with you guys today, to know that you're not alone, but to know that it does get better. I have seriously, like the past couple of years have been the best years of my life. I have so much food freedom, it is not funny. I do not restrict anything. I am vegetarian, so I know that sounds like restricting, I guess, but it's really not. I have not ever enjoyed eating meat. It's something that I don't ever want to eat. So it's not like it's sitting there and I want to eat it, but I'm not letting myself. I really just, you know how some people don't like mushrooms? Well, I don't like meat. So that's me. I love mushrooms. I just don't like meat. So I now live a non-restrictive lifestyle. I will eat anything, but most times I thrive. Seriously, like my body just feels so good and I thrive when I eat well and when I fuel myself well. So like 99% of the time, I will literally choose the healthiest option, like just because I love it. But I don't sit there and compare, oh, this is going to be healthier and less calories and this is bad food, so I better choose this option. It's more like I know that this is what's going to fuel me better, so that's what I'm going to choose. But sometimes I might choose a little bit from this pile, if that makes sense. And I feel so good. So I really want to be able to discuss more of this. I'll keep this talk really short here today, but I really want to discuss it in future episodes, just how I overcame binge eating. I really want to go through some things with you guys just so that you know the steps that I took to get better, I guess. Really, for most people, what I would recommend is actually speaking to a professional counselor or psychologist who has a lot of experience with binge eating or eating disorders. I think that that's the first step. Other than like sharing with some close friends, I feel like speaking to a professional is so good. They just know what to say, help you to feel heard and seen and known. They just somehow like come up with steps or a method on how to improve your relationship with food. And I think that that's really important. But I do want to go through the things that I personally did to really help me. But for now, I just really want to say to you guys that you are not alone if you're suffering with this, or if you know someone who's suffering with this, please help them to know that they're not alone. There's so many people out there who also struggle in this area. There's just so much misinformation out there about food and about nutrition, and it can get quite overwhelming. And it's no surprise that we begin to become obsessed with certain foods and restrict certain foods, and then we get confused thinking we might be eating the right thing or the good thing, and people say don't eat this but do eat that, and blah 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 blah. I'm here to tell you guys, now I eat all things in moderation and I've never felt better. I literally just feel so healthy, so strong, so alert. Like my energy levels are amazing. I can concentrate for long periods of time. I can work out so hard in the gym and go for runs, and I know that you guys can get through it. And if you're struggling right now, there is a better future for you where you no longer have to restrict or binge or cut out certain food groups or say no to all the social events. Like, there is hope, and I cannot wait to share more of it with you. So stay tuned for next week's episode. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Please do the usual, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Share it with your friends, especially of those friends who you know may be struggling with binge eating or eating disorders. Also, anyone who's interested in healthy cooking, fitness, faith, they're my passions. That's what I want to share with the world. So if you know someone who'd be interested, make sure you share this with them. If you have certain topics that you want me to discuss on future episodes, please write them in the comments below. Anyways, peace. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.